Hello, and welcome to the I Love You But podcast. I'm Heather, and this is my sister.
Ryan. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees.
To critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us.
Sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but.
Icons 8 Music.
Hey, what'd you waste time on this week, Ryan Davis?
I made a quarter of a pie.
Cool.
For book club, and then I didn't go to book club because I didn't finish the pie.
You finished the book?
I did. So here's the thing. I was telling Ben, my baby daddy, old boy, that the last time I was in a book club, I never finished the books, but I always went. And now I'm in a book club and I read all the books, but I never actually go.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the third book and I've never actually been to book club.
You like the reading more than the socializing.
Yeah. It's a flip.
You have a toddler.
Thing.
You don't have time. So this week, I have been watching a television show that I found on HBO Max, but it's British, and it's called CB Strike. It's a detective show, and it's set in modern-day London. And I think that CB Strike might be the perfect man.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah. First of all, he's fake, so that helps. Secondly, he works a lot. Like he's fictional. Like he's not a real person. That makes him pretty perfect.
Like the fact that he's a fictional character, or like in the show, is he not like a real person? Like it's like a hologram or a robot?
No, he's a real person. Like it's based on a series of books, and he's a real person, and he's kind of grumpy, and he's just all he likes to do is work. He doesn't have time for anything else. And he's really bad at romantic relationships, and he eats junk food and likes to spend a lot of time alone, and I think he might be my ideal match.
I think that you think that because that's basically you.
Yeah, but I'm me on purpose. So, like, why wouldn't I want somebody like me? It's not like I'm accidentally me. I have made all of the choices that make up my personality. I could suppress them. I could focus on...
I'm intentionally me or accidentally me?
I think you're intentionally you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I feel like there was some time in my life where I was very accidentally me.
All you really have to do is be able to learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
And handle your emotions. And if you can handle your emotions, you can pretty much just be any type of person you want to be, because you don't immediately react to everything and let it ruin your life.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's a good show. I recommend it. I hope in 40 years I don't look back at it and go, why did I waste my time with that crap?
Yeah.
Mannequin.
Oh man, I love this movie.
Oh, Lord. What do you recall? What do you recall?
That's the thing. I recall everything. So there was nothing that, like...
Please repeat the movie word for word right now.
No, because you won't let me sing.
You only know the words to the last song. It's not like you're going to sing that many songs.
That's true. I mean, obviously I don't have it fucking memorized word for word.
Tell me everything really fast.
But yeah, so she's a lazy feminist, so I love that, right? I'm in Egypt and I don't want to marry the camel dung, blah, blah, blah. Please, God, save me. Travel through time, meet Christopher Columbus, Michelangelo's gay, blah, blah, blah. Anthony McCartney's a sculptor who can't keep a job because he just wants to make art. And he makes her as a mannequin, and he's dating a real word I just called you a minute ago. I mean, the phrase "ditch the bitch" never rang more true.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
How did you forget that one? I wrote it down really big with exclamation points. Works at a department store. Then really want me to keep going?
You really remember all of this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did just rewatch it.
No, I meant what did you remember before the rewatch?
Oh, no, I would have remembered all that. I need to. Yeah.
Okay, would you like me to tell you what I remember? To be fair,
I have rewatched this movie within the last, 6 years.
Okay.
And I watched it many times before that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Here's the list of what I remember. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hollywood, oh Hollywood, come and get me, Hollywood. A guy falls in love with a mannequin. There's a pink Cadillac. And that's it. I even forgot James Spader was in this movie. I don't remember anything else. I forgot it all. I didn't know there was a bulldog in this movie. Estelle Getty was a wonderful delight. Nothing. That's it. That's the list.
Yeah, well, so since I knew that I would remember everything, since there was never, the list would have been very long, I asked Ben what he remembered, because he actually gave it to me on DVD, which I think I mentioned last week. And we still haven't watched it. We thought we might watch it together, but we go to bed 8 o'clock. So, remembered very little. He couldn't remember what magic it was that made her come to life. Did he wish for her to come to life?
Was it magic, or?
It was was he you know what I mean? What, he kissed her and she came to, I don't know. And then.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, what, he can remember, what the plot thing was that made her be able to come to life.
Yeah.
And then he remembered there were people chasing them, and he didn't remember why. So that's kind of all I got.
Did he remember Hollywood?
I mean, I'm sure he did. We didn't go into depth. So
okay. Asked mom and dad, and they both just said Hollywood. That's it. That's all they got.
I mean, yeah. No, Mystified Taylor was definitely the best thing in that movie.
Okay, so we're gonna try to do this a little different. Are you ready?
Oh, okay. We have rules.
Well, I feel like we're gonna steal from one of my favorite podcasts, I Saw What You Did.
Yeah.
And I feel like last week, granted, part of it was just that Adventures and Babysitting is a hot mess, but so Winston synopsis for Mannequin, released in 1987. A guy who can't keep a job leaves his yuppie girlfriend for a mannequin. Features James Spader.
That's an unfair synopsis.
Please give me your one sentence synopsis.
I mean, I guess it's that, but it's fun.
All right.
Campy 80s fun set in historic department store.
A made-up historic department store.
No, it wasn't. Well, the department store was.
Prince and Co.
Prince and Company is, but that department store, that was. Oh, I went deep.
Oh no!
While I was watching it, because I was I remember all this, so I just went the Googles. I have lots of things for you.
All right.
That's how I was how can we add to?
I gotcha.
That.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a wonderful cast of characters here. We'll start, of course, with Andrew McCarthy as Jonathan Switcher.
So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
He's just so pretty. He was so soft.
Very soft. Soft-voiced.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Spader.
Yeah.
Both very soft-voiced.
They're unusual. Not so soft anymore.
Well, I mean, they've just aged. That's what
I know. Yeah.
It happened to us. I got trifocals this week. Come on.
No, I'm still soft.
26 listeners, she's poking her face, by the way. I liked how physically affectionate he was with Hollywood. I enjoyed that very much. There was a lot of shoulder touching and honest laughter and things like that. That was very nice.
No, yeah, there was some genuine enjoyment. I feel like everyone who made this movie was having a genuinely good time, while making the movie.
Yes, I don't think it was that good, but I do think they were having a good time, which is great.
I never said it was good. Just because I said I enjoy it a lot doesn't mean that I think it's a good movie.
Kim Cattrall as Emma Hezare, an ancient Egyptian woman transported
blonde
to the 20th century. White woman.
Also that.
not realistic.
Yeah, with a very Jewish mother.
A very Jewish mother, which was interesting in ancient Egypt.
The gods have more things to worry about than you.
Estelle Getty as Claire Timken, the store owner, Prince and Company, who, as you mentioned, hires Mr. Jonathan Switcher. And they become fast little friends amidst the hijinks of people working against them.
Yes.
I meant to look up when Golden Girls was on.
So one thing I saw, she was already on Golden Girls at that point.
Okay.
Because I did see one fun fact that her and Meshach Taylor starred in an episode of Golden Girls together in 1985.
Okay.
It had at least been on the air for 2 years, probably more.
Oh yeah, I was going to remind you, I'll cut this out, but back once upon a time, movies were essentially made 2 years before they were released. So whenever you talk about when somebody was in something, TV, it's fine. You can say the same year because it gets produced much faster. But with movies, there's always like a 2-year behind.
Well, why would you cut this out? Maybe other people don't know this.
Because nobody cares about my pedantic bullshit. But I'm just saying, like, if you want to talk about Andrew McCartney... If no one cares
about your pedantic bullshit, why are they listening to our podcast?
I'm trying to tone it down. So Andrew McCartney was born in 1962, which means when they were filming this movie, he was 23. That was all I wanted.
Okay, well, the internet said he was 24. And that Kim Cattrall was 30, so it was one of the few times where the leading lady was older than the leading man.
James Spader as Richards.
Just amazing.
Doing his best, Hitler's best friend in a 3-piece suit with transition-tinted serial killer glasses in a little bit of like a spidery physical comedy situation. But giving me very much Nazi. Very Nazi.
Yeah. A bit of queerness going on there with that character?
I think that's always with James Spader. You kind of always get that with him, but not intentionally. It's kind of like Hannibal Lecter, right? Like he just kind of has that, like, there's something sort of sensual and sexual and menacing about him, and it's sort of undefined. So you don't really see him. Like, he could just kind of fuck anybody, you know? I mean, not in this, because he is such a dweeb, but, like...
Well, see, I feel like in this, he was just, like, more like an asexual entity, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. G.W. Bailey as Felix, the overnight security guard who upgraded from a bulldog to a German Shepherd when he switched companies.
A bulldog named Rambo.
A bulldog named Rambo. And a German Shepherd named Predator.
Terminator. You don't even remember. When did you watch this?
Today.
Oh, Lord.
I did not take many notes.
Neither did I, but okay.
And last and never least, Meshach Taylor as Hollywood.
Iconic.
So good.
Did you notice there's a theme from last week that carried over into this week?
The black guy was the best thing in the movie?
Oh, well, yeah, that one. But I was thinking the license plate on Hollywood's pink Cadillac that said...
Bad girl.
Like 180 from last week's vanity plate. Like, absolute
someone,
180.
internet, go switch them. Go,
yeah.
Gladly went for bad girl, and let's make Meshach Taylor so cool.
Taylor, yes, yes,
that would be really good. I'm a little sad that the 1980s was the best time in a Philadelphia department store, the best place to be a woman who wants to invent things. Since that's where she stayed.
I mean, but we don't know, like, there's a lot of lost in, like, the rules of this magic that's transporting her through time. Like, it seems like she has control over it.
Yeah.
but then only he can see her. So is that her choice? Is that the magic of the god? There's a lot of like very lost. There's some plot holes there.
I'm not talking about it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's like.
I wanted to ask you if you knew that it was Philadelphia.
I did know it was Philadelphia. Yeah, I did know it was Philadelphia.
Because they had a title card that said Philadelphia?
No, I remembered it was in Philadelphia. Because I feel like there was like other movies that we watched as children that were filmed in Philadelphia.
The movie Philadelphia?
Well, I wasn't really a child, but like Trading Places was Philadelphia.
Was it?
Yeah, because they show like the opening scene is like all these like really famous like architectural features of Philadelphia.
I feel like I just assumed everything set in Philly was actually New York when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not interesting, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, I knew it was Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, through the whole movie.
Yeah.
That was cool. I liked it.
You liked it? Did you like the belted leather jacket?
I did. I did. I liked it because you could see like the way he wore the jacket changed as his confidence increased throughout the movie. Like,
okay.
Oh my God. Like the costumes in this movie are awesome. Like the whole movie's just like, or like half the movie's just like them playing dress up.
Yeah, I did know they were a lot like kids.
Yeah, like it really plays on that like getting locked in the store overnight kind of fantasy that, I feel like every kid kind of had like, oh, I'm going to hide in the clothing rack. And, what if I just stayed in the store overnight? Yeah. And it's like this amazing, like beautiful store with all this different shit in it. It's not like when I was a kid, like, oh, I'm going to hide in the Walmart clothing rack. And what if I get left in here overnight? Like, what am I going to do? And it wasn't even a super Walmart. It was just like before super Walmart. Like shitty old Walmart. So yeah, I mean, I think that like it is like a lot of just really playfulness. So it's just fun,
Yeah, but then it gets like sexy, which I always think is weird when people are like acting like children and then they're sexy. What do you think the appeal was for that whole staying overnight in the department store at the mall? Like, why was that something we wanted to do?
I don't know. Like, because when you say it, it seems like it would be something scary. Like, that sounds terrifying.
But it was something. It was something you thought about, right? Like,
yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
I don't know.
I think some like being able to have absolute control over everything you do, maybe, because as kids you don't, right?
Yeah, well, there's some subversiveness to it, I guess, too, right? Being somewhere that you're not supposed to be at a time when you're just supposed to be in bed, being asleep.
Yeah.
Maybe that's some of the appeal.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we like saw it because of movies like this. I don't know.
I think movies like this forced it. I was gonna ask, is there a better metaphor for the male gaze, the objectification of women, and the material obsession of the 80s than this movie?
The male gaze, what, say them again?
The objectification of women and the material obsession of the 80s.
I mean, surely. I mean, so many movies, like in the 80s, maybe not the material obsession. Like, there's definitely, like, some capitalist, like...
American Psycho. But other than that...
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, like... I mean, it's just really interesting. So what I found when I was doing research is that this, on the Wikipedia page, I don't use reputable resources, but on the Wikipedia page, it describes it as a modern retelling of the Pygmalion myth.
Okay.
And I didn't look that up.
Is she the one grooming him?
I don't, remind us what the Pygmalion myth is, because I didn't look
My
that
Fair
up.
Lady.
Yeah, I think she is.
Okay.
Because she's like, you're confident, you got this, you can do it on your own,
Sure.
And he's the one that makes some kind of transformation to being, unemployable to vice president of the company.
That's right. And being lured away with a salary offer of $55,000. I looked it up. 156K.
Oh, I got 144, but
okay.
Still, yeah.
More than I make. Pretty good salary.
Yeah. I also looked up how much a mannequin weighs. Because, like, he's carrying her around, and then at the end when Roxy's like, oh, like throwing her on the conveyor belt, and then when he's trying to, like, save her from the wood chipper.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, and I'm like, how does a mannequin weigh? And
sure.
So I looked it up. Average is 25 pounds.
Okay.
But sometimes they can weigh between like 50 and 60. But then I was like, wait, that's now. Are mannequins made out of the same material now as they were in 1987?
You did go deep.
I went real deep. And the answer is yes. They are made of fiberglass. I sent you a little YouTube clip.
I watched it.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
I liked at the end when they were trying to make it look like a horror story. That was pretty cute.
But yeah, so they were made of fiberglass now. They were made of fiberglass then. So.
Okay.
Because, there's a whole opening scene where he's like in the mannequin making warehouse.
Singing to mannequin parts. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, like using a mannequin arm like a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Very off time.
Did you know that Roxy had a car?
Did she?
She says it at the very end when she's getting fired, and she's like, what about my mortgage and blah, blah, and my car payment?
Yeah, I just ignored her. She was
Why
awful.
didn't she drive?
That's a better question.
She was always getting rides from dudes. Like, if she had a car, why didn't she drive it?
His dad's in the shop. Like,
this leads me to two other issues that I have. So, we can talk about ditch the bitch, but I want to go back a little bit further. And my question is, why are you with the bitch? Not why are you still with her? It's not like she tricked you. That's who she was. Like, there was no backstory where they fell in love in college and she was artistic, and then all of a sudden she just became this corporate whatever.
Yeah.
Like, as far as we know, she has always been like this and he has always been like that. Why are they together? And the example of a movie that I love that has this exact same trope in it that makes me crazy is LA Story. I hate that Steve Martin is with that woman, and then the only impetus he has to leave that obnoxious woman is that he meets the fun, like, British woman, where it's like, you couldn't just be alone? Like, why were you with her? What is the point?
Doesn't he, like, fuck, like, a teenager at some point or something? Or, like...
Well, Sarah Jessica Parker is in it.
Parker. Yeah.
And she's not a teenager that I know, but...
Yeah. She was very young.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He was not that old at that time. He just had white hair.
No, I know.
Okay, just checking.
Recently, one of my students told me, like, I overheard them say that they hate Steve Martin, and it made me so sad.
Oh, why?
I know. Because apparently the only movie of his that they had seen was Roxanne, and they hated that movie.
Oh, Roxanne's a great movie.
And they couldn't, like, forget the nose and, like, get past the nose and whatever. And I was like, you're just missing out because he's fabulous.
Roxanne,
I don't remember which one it is, but I hope so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it just goes back, like, both the beginning and the ending goes back to, like, male laziness. Like, I feel like it's like she decided to date him because he's fun and artistic and he rides a motorcycle and I can change him. Like, that kind of bullshit women think.
Sure.
And he's like, cool, like, you're pretty and will have sex with me, so let's date.
He didn't seem to really miss her, I will say that.
No, he didn't, like, miss her at all. Like, you know, like, I don't think either of them were that into each other in any way.
He just wanted a mannequin child. Lady.
I mean, I do. Like, I started off trying to go deep and be like, man, what is it? Like, what is the message here that, like, he creates her and makes her, you know, like, but it's like he makes her, but she's, like, better than him. Like, she doesn't change at all. Like,
no, she's just who she is. She delights in all the little things around her and runs around like crazy. And the only problem I had with her was I've always been bothered at that end when she's going toward the wood chipper and she's kicking her legs it makes me so mad because there is no way that was helpful. Like, even as a child, I knew.
Stop wiggling!
Making it worse. Like, hold yourself still or put your feet against the wall and
but that doesn't make for exciting film, Heather.
It was still exciting. The thing was spinning and it had a head in it. She didn't need to move her feet. It was very unrealistic and very annoying.
No, I disagree. And yeah, okay, Heather's pedantic bullshit. Like,
I did make a note that Fargo had the most famous wood chipper since Mannequin.
That is definitely true. No one saved him from the wood chipper.
I also liked at the end that Kim Cattrall got to gaslight our buddy G.W. Bailey, Felix.
Yeah.
When she was like, this man is having a breakdown. And he had to be like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, ha ha ha, you got gaslit. I enjoyed that. A lot of 80s. We had yuppies, homophobia, sexual harassment, cellulite.
Yeah.
Ageism at some point.
Yeah.
The costumes are a 1980s time capsule, period.
They're
if you want to know what the 80s looked like, just watch Mannequin. That's
like the first night she comes alive.
Yeah.
And they just sequence through
every example of the
like
rich
yuppie couple, like California, Florida beach life, punk rock. I mean, the 20s thing was a little weird. I don't know where that fits in, but yeah, I guess so.
Which is fine. Whatever. It was a montage. Who cares?
Again, I'm not saying this is a great movie. I'm not saying it didn't give me some kind of mental scar about body image and obsession and thinking that I had to be perfectly thin. I even found a thing where, so they made 6. So when Kim Cattrall got cast, she had to go to a mannequin maker and sit for them to make 6 mannequins of her. Right? Which is, if you notice, they actually look a lot like her. And so she said that she was working out, bodybuilding, doing all this stuff so that she would be as toned as the mannequins for those nude scenes. And I remember as a kid thinking that scene with her in the fur coat when she's trying to get him to pay attention to her and she's being all sexy and then flashes him and she's wearing the bra and underwear. That's imprinted on my brain of what being a woman is, right?
Yeah.
And so when I talk to my students about gender identity and the idea of that gender is performance and how as I get older, more and more I realize that I spent my entire life being wrong. I never performed being a woman, being a girl, being female right. Even just from my name. From the day I was born, I wasn't performing gender correctly, being a woman correctly, and so, and all this shit we watched in the 80s just reinforced that,
But did you?
I don't know. Are we getting too deep on this? Is it?
No, I think it's good. It's good to talk about. It's all there. But did you want to perform girl, woman? Was that
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I definitely wanted to.
Okay.
Well,
I guess you did do the cheerleading thing.
Yeah, I did cheerleading. I did dance. I was
liked to play dress up too.
I played with Barbies until I was in high school, and I think something about this movie kind of appeals to that because so I found out another fun fact in my research. So there was a guy named Jerry Kelly who was an LSD research who after seeing this movie it became convinced that mannequins could come to life and got arrested many times for talking to and undressing and fondling mannequins. And I don't know where, and I don't know, obviously this was early 90s probably, I don't know. And I couldn't find any other information about him. But it wasn't because he was on LSDs. I'm not on drugs. I'm convinced that these mannequins can come to life because I saw this movie. And it was in this thing where it talks about the escapism, right? And so fiction land becoming, it's like people who get like super into like fan fiction and like dressing up to the point where they convince themselves sometimes that it is real because that reality is better than whatever reality they're living, right?
Yeah.
I
just think he's like, that sounds like the original incel. I don't know.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, no, I think that I did. Like, I think that I did want to be like a traditional makeup wearing, dress wearing, but jewelry, all of that. And
yeah,
but I was fat. And in the 80s and the early 90s, you couldn't be both.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lizzo. You're helping us out.
Yeah. You would think I would hate this movie, but I don't. I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't like it because it was annoying. But okay, I got two more things.
What's worse? Mannequin Part 2.
No doubt. I'm not watching that shit.
Which I saw in the theater.
Oh, no.
When it came out in 1991.
Oh, no. Who took you to see that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It came out sometime in the 90s, but I do remember seeing it in the theater. I started to watch it after I finished this today.
Yeah.
And I think I got like a minute or two in, and I was like, this is fucking terrible. Like, with that, I remember like a guy with a big wart on his nose, and that's it. And like Renaissance times. But Mystified Taylor was in that one as well.
Well, he might be worth a watch, but whatever.
No, it's not. I promise you that it's not. This. Yeah.
Okay, so I got two more things, and then I can't talk about this anymore. But you can talk more if you want to listen. It really annoyed me both last week and this week. How everyone is like athletic and good at fighting. Because no, you're not. Nobody's naturally good at fighting. Like, like when he like pulled, like when he like handcuffed that cop and like pulled his jacket over him, I was like, that's stupid. No, it was dumb. And then it just kind of made me feel a little sentimental and nostalgic about Bridget Jones, because I love that when those two men fight, they're just like slapping each other, falling down. Because they've never been in a fight before, and that is how it would really go. Like, it would not be how it happened in this movie. Like, no, it's just silly. I don't know. It just kind of felt like a more liberal version of the Dukes of Hazzard when I was watching it, where I was like, it's just too many dumb jokes and like ridiculous characters and physical comedy that's not that funny and bad music, and I don't know. If it weren't for Hollywood, I wouldn't have made it through. I'll tell you that much. Love me some Hollywood.
So man, him with that hose at the end, squirting all those cops with a hose, like the beautiful irony of a black man turning a giant fire hose on a bunch of white cops. Like, that's great. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, the other thing.
So the other thing I was wondering as I got late into the film was, does Mannequin pass the Bechdel test?
Oh, surely not.
No, it does not. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, the Bechdel test is, are there two women with names who talk about something other than a man? And of the things that we've watched so far for the podcast, Three's Company passed, Adventures in Babysitting barely passed, unless I guess maybe like the babysitter talking to Sarah maybe might make it okay. But they're not women. That's like a woman and a child. And no.
What about when she talks to her friend?
Well, her friend, they don't really talk about, they talk about boys because she comes over and he's disappointed her, but they also talk about poisoning her stepmother. So yes, that's why I said barely. Like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
Considering that they're best friends and they really don't talk to each other that much during the movie,
Yeah.
And Mannequin, no, because at the beginning is the only time that two women talk to each other, and it's about whether or not she should get married to the dog dealer or whatever. So, Mannequin fails, which takes us back to, is there a better metaphor for the male gaze, the objectification of women, and the material obsession of the 80s than Mannequin?
If so, we're going to find it and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, God.
Hey, you started this. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, all of the, like, what were those movies?
Bad.
It's not like Chubbies, but
Porky's?
Porky's, yeah, like all of those movies, or Caddyshack, or, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But none of them had women who were objects who literally came to life. Like, you know?
I mean, the Nutcracker.
Do they fall in love? Object? Is there? Are we sexualizing the Nutcracker?
I feel like there's an undertone.
Are you? You're sexualizing. You're sexualizing.
You never felt like there was some I'm not sexualizing. Like, feelings of amour are just not sexuality.
Between the little girl and the Nutcracker?
Never mind.
Who are you talking about?
Like that, like, crush, like that, like, when we, like, do you remember that one male babysitter we had?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we both did, like, or I don't know if you did, but I had, like, a huge, like, I just fell in love with him.
I just remember that he was upset because we were watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and he wasn't allowed to watch it, but he was babysitting us.
Do you remember how why he was babysitting us? Why he babysat us one time?
I have no idea. I remember we did a science experiment.
We did a science experiment and we buried it in the front yard by the sewer line with your science kit that you had gotten for Christmas.
Nice.
I remember that too. No, but the reason he babysat us is because the Catholic Church youth group or whatever, confirmation people that mom and dad were in charge of, raised money for a few years by auctioning off their teenagers to do things like babysit and do yard work and things like that. So mom and dad, like, literally bought him and made him babysit us one night. Well, I don't know, they went and got drunk with the priest. I don't know what they did, but yeah. Because that's why he only babysat us once.
I thought it was because he was like, these girls are going to corrupt me. They're going to let me watch R-rated movies.
He was like 16. Is he Roger Rabbit rated R?
If it wasn't R, it was PG-13. He was not. He literally said, like, we were like, we're gonna watch Who's Framed Roger Rabbit. He was like, I am not allowed to watch that.
How do you ask me, did I want to be the ideal woman when I had a full-size poster of Jessica Rabbit in my bedroom?
Okay, so if Who Framed Roger Rabbit were set in the 80s, it might be a close tie with Mannequin, where you have the sexualization of a cartoon rabbit, right? Like, that is so fucked.
Yeah. Who doesn't even really look like a rabbit. Like, I always thought she was like a person, not human, but, you know, she's a cartoon. I didn't know she was a rabbit.
They anthropomorphized her for sure.
Yeah, like way more than they did the fucking Roger.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to table this until we get to. But yeah, anyways. But yes, so, but I mean, or like Aaron Baker. You remember when I had that crush on Aaron Baker? I was 8 years old.
Man, everybody had a crush on Aaron Baker. That guy was like the Cure as a person. Ugh.
I still have a crush on Aaron Baker. He's like doing cartoons for Boy, like living in New York. I still have crushes.
Are you serious? Wow, yeah. You're looking him up. Dang.
Monique told me that. And then I Googled it once when I remembered him. Like, is he still doing that? And he's still hot. So, well, Monique, when you listen to this, feel free. Tell him. Anyway,
what does that
I don't
mean?
Because I know she will. You still think Baker's hot? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking do. He's hot. Anyways,
still thinks Aaron Baker is hot.
I don't know. he has a cure thing going on. Wasn't the point of that to be like, I'm not like covering your face with like the hair?
You trying to make him John Duflo? It's not gonna work.
Oh, he's pretty too.
Tell me what you were trying to tell me.
Being in a band with his daughter. Adorable. I meant like that. Like there's like that kind of like crush, you know, that young girls tend to get on, you know what I mean? Like on older males.
Yes, I get that. I get it. I disagree with the Nutcracker. I think maybe we need to rewatch it just so we can examine that very specific narrative, because no, ma'am. She falls in love with the little prince. Like,
what little prince?
There's like a little prince in it. I'm pretty sure.
And the Nutcracker?
I'm pretty sure there's like a little prince that she dances with.
Do you have your phone in your hand? Why don't you look that up?
I know there's a version of it that has Macaulay Culkin in it, so I'm pretty sure there's some kind of little prince that she falls in love with, because why else would Macaulay Culkin have been in a version of the Nutcracker?
There's 800 people in that movie, or in that play. Can I tell you about the department store? Because can we just talk about that building for a minute?
The building was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was built in 1901.
Oh.
It is one of the first department stores in the country.
What?
It was the first department store to use price tags. It was called the John Wanamaker Department Store.
Yeah.
It is now a Macy's. Yeah, it was built in 1910. Sorry, my mistake. I flipped the 0 and the 1. So he founded the store. That organ that he doesn't actually play in the movie, fun fact.
Yeah.
That is the largest operational organ in the world.
Wow.
And it is from the 1911 World's Fair.
Okay.
And I mean, can you just imagine, like, think about going to Macy's now compared to like going there to go shopping. Like,
well, I mean, it's like when
on the 9th floor.
No, like you went, like when we went to Harrods, it's like that, right?
Those windows were not that amazing.
I love the art student who was like sketching.
Right? Like, and that was the one that was kind of the coolest, where they're all dashing to get to work and they don't have clothes on. Like, that one was cool.
Right.
But like the first one with the tennis rackets, it was like, this is not that cool. Like,
all they really did was add motion. That was it.
That was it. Like, I was like, is this like cool for the 80s? Because these are not that impressive, like, for the crowds. And like the other guy was like, oh my god, that's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Like, is it? Like,
would you like, and like I said, I'm done. I got nothing else on Mannequin. I'm done. Like, I think maybe, you know what? I got one more thing. Are you ready for it?
Oh, Lord. She's never done. We never shut up. 2 girls who never shut up.
I remember the telephone being in the drawer, and I remember thinking it would be cool if you had an overnight job where you could have a telephone in the drawer. I thought that was good.
Oh, how did you afford that apartment?
Oh,
with
yeah.
the grand piano in it?
Yeah, no.
Apartment. Like,
he was a trust fund kid. There's no...
Apparently. Yeah,
I mean,
like 2 women never talk to each other, but he talks to his mom like twice on the phone in that movie.
Okay, cool.
Or at least once, but whatever. Okay, anyways. He's from Ohio.
He's from Ohio. Oh, and you know, I always felt like the kiss in Pretty in Pink, you know, outside of Andy's house, where they're standing in the street and they're being lit by by his fancy car lights. You're not recognizing this kiss at all.
Not
I've been obsessed with this kiss forever, ever since I saw it. I think it's one of the best kisses in movie history. And I've really tried to figure out why. Like, why is it that good a kiss? And I realize it's Andrew McCarthy, because he does a thing where, when he looks like he knows how to kiss and he wants to do it, which helps. And he like touches his partner's face. So you get like hand movement in it too. And it's not just like face smashing.
Yeah.
And he did that in this movie as well. And so I did enjoy that part, that brief little part.
That's nice. How could she get married if she had no proof of who she was as a person?
How could she have a digestive system if she was a mannequin? And why did she have to be a mannequin when all the other times she was a person?
You don't know that.
She was a mannequin she was a mannequin with Christopher Columbus.
I don't know. We need a prequel.
Oh, no.
I want a mannequin prequel. That is what I need in my life. I need a mannequin prequel. We got the sequel.
There was an 80s thing I did like. I did like that there was a cartoon, like, for the intro. Like, that was the opening credits.
I love it. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. And the music was good.
She taught Christopher Columbus some things. I like that.
I think it won an Academy Award for Best Original Song.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's an Academy Award-winning movie, Mannequin.
No. Hurts my heart. Did you see that thing recently about the ratio of women talking versus men talking in the films that have won Best Picture at the Academy Awards for like the last 20 years?
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I don't even have to. Like, if you even go to try to look at like the top 100 movies, they're all fucking like, it's like reading someone's OkCupid profile. Like, that's all it is. Like, a dude's OkCupid profile. Like, the top 100 movies of all time is like The Godfather 1 and 2, and Shawshank Redemption, and Platoon,
Master and Commander.
Yeah, like, and then that fucking one with Mel Gibson in a kilt. Like, what? Like,
Braveheart.
I was like, Brigadoon. I was like, that's not right. But yeah, dude, no, it's
we will
like,
respect you more if you get into Brigadoon. We're just telling you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's Brigadoon. Like, yeah, all of the top 100 movies, they're all just it's yeah, a cisgendered dude on OkCupid listing it off like they have, and they're probably in film school too. Fucking Star Wars 800, like all of them are on there. Like,
I'm kind of torn about Star Wars a little bit. I'm going to tell you why.
Whoa.
Okay, first, I'm going to share my unpopular opinion, and if this drives some of our 26 people away, you know what? Oh, well.
You were never our friends to begin with.
Star Wars is shit. It is absolute fucking garbage. It is fantasy pretending to be science fiction. It is garbage. However, I have heard enough now about The Mandalorian and that other one now with Diego Luna that I'm like, do I need to watch fucking Star Wars? Like, not the old, I'm not watching that old Jar Jar Binks Chewbacca bullshit. I'm not watching that shit. But like the new one, apparently they actually have people who know how to write real characters and real plot and real emotion and nuance. And I'm like,
you just like Adam Driver.
No, like even, wait, is he in The Mandalorian?
He's the Mandalorian. No, Baby Yoda's the Mandalorian.
You can't say Baby
I don't know. I came home and Ben was watching an episode of it with our child who was like 2 at the time.
I know.
And like somebody's getting electrocuted, so no, we're not watching The Mandalorian.
You know what? A friend of ours told me that a friend of his, whenever he wants to see a movie in the theater, he rents it out and invites all his friends. And I was like, I don't go to the movies that much, and I might start doing that.
I like how you don't say people's names.
And people, and I don't want to deal with it.
People are terrible.
Thank you. That's it for this episode of I Love You But. Join us next week when we discuss The Electric Grandmother. For now, we want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram at I Love You But Pod and on Twitter at I Love You Pod. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? And what should we talk about in future episodes? Tell us on social, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Heather, and
I'm Ryan, and we send you lots and lots of conditional love.